All right, guys, our next card is going to feature the Vibrant Vases stamp set. You can also easily substitute I think it's Varied Vases. Yeah, that's the other stamp set that's coordinates with that Vase Builder Punch. And I'm going to use just a couple of images for this one. I'm going to stamp this in basic gray ink to start with. Now you remember where your letters home were on a little piece of white. You can use that as scrap paper. So I'm just going to stamp this in basic gray. Now I also am going to stamp my sentiment on here. And this is there's a 4 by 5 1/4 inch sheet of Whisper White. I embossed this with the ruffled embossing folder. I did not emboss these for you. You can emboss them or not. It's up to you. So I'm just going to stamp that right there on our card. I also need to cut a 3 by 3 piece of printed paper, and I chose this pattern. You can kind of do whatever you want. This is from the Subtle, so that's a So Saffron panel. And I will adhere this. Now we'll get back to this card, I promise. Okay, so there's my printed paper onto my square of soft subtles, and then I'll adhere that directly to my layer here. I've also got the stitched circle and coordinating scalloped circle, which I'm going to adhere together as well. And then I've punched for you the little vase from the Vase Builder Punch in some soft seafoam. Now, you can leave it as is, or you could use one of the punches, or I'm sorry, one of the vase designs. I am grabbing, before I knock everything down, I'm grabbing my Crackle background stamp, and I'm actually going to ink that up in a little soft seafoam. Like I said, though, you can use your, like a vase, the vase stamps from the stamp set if you'd prefer. I just inked that Crackle on the vase. I think that's kind of a fun little touch. Now, if you don't have that background stamp or this varied vases or vibrant vases or varied vases stamp sets, you can substitute like a small flower die or punch that you most assuredly have laying around. I know this because I know you people. And I did not want to actually pop this layer up. Hold that thought one moment. I am, however, going to glue this down right there, kind of right in the center. Okay, now remember this little image we had back here? Let's come back to this. I'm going to stamp this in So Saffron. And I haven't decided if I wanted it full strength or not, so I'm going to try the full strength. Yeah, I think full strength is good. And we'll just stamp that right over the top. Very simple. There's also one more image, and I always forget this image because it's kind of tiny. I don't see it so much. But there's little leaves that actually line up with the leaves on our stamp image. So I'll pick that up. And once again, with my soft seafoam, I will stamp these on. And I love that they just kind of line right up. So it's a nice little touch right there. Okay. I'm going to fussy cut this. There's not a stamp or anything for this one. Or I'm sorry, a punch or a die. It's just fussy cut. It's not too tricky though. And I'm just leaving a little white border. Okay. Now this piece I will pop up with those dimensionals that I had. We'll place it right on top, and then we'll adhere this. And I love this card. It's just bright and happy. You could do it in a variety of colors, which is perfect. You've got lots of printed paper to choose from for this to change up the colors if you'd like. And it's just an all around good card, I think. I'm going to give my card base a good crease with my bone folder, and I'll adhere this. And then last but not least, I'm going to take a couple of sequins and embellish the center. Okay, now in here, there are kind of smaller and larger sized sequins. So I'm going to pull a couple of the smaller ones out. By the way, if you have a pick your tool, this is very helpful to use your little tacky end for this to find those slightly smaller sequins. And there's lighter and darker shades of blue. You can kind of do whatever. Actually, I kind of like the lighter ones. Or even the white. So whichever you would like is just fine. We'll position that right in the center, and then we'll just adhere them down. Okay, now for this, because these are small, I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue in the center of each of these flowers to adhere those sequins, and then I'll just place them down. And you do want to give this a few minutes to dry once you've placed them, just so that they don't fall off. But it's a sweet little touch that's pretty easy to do and adds a nice little amount of shimmer to your card. So there you go. So cute.